There are three main areas of the kick drum that we are concerned about. It is the fundamental, the low mids, and then the beater. You need to make sure that you get this aspect 100% nailed in your mix. If you don't, then your mix is already failed from the bottom up. Hi, my name is Tyson. I'm a mastering engineer here at Dinosaur Dog Mastering, and today we're going to be talking about how to EQ your kick drum, because the kick drum is such a central part of every single mix. But if you also want to learn how to EQ everything, both the kick drum as well as every other element in your mix like a professional, then make sure you're picking up my instrumentation equalization guide, because that will guide you through all of the different elements, vocals, guitars, violins, everything that you can think of. It will guide you through the decision-making process of where to boost and where to cut inside of your mix. So you can actually listen to your tracks, use the guide to then guide you to a good solution for your tracks, and actually be EQing your tracks like a professional. With that said, let's dive into the actual training for today, which is how to EQ your kick drum like a professional. And our kick drum is one of the most critical items to get right inside of our mix. Often we end up with a muddy sounding kick. It doesn't have any definition, and ultimately it just doesn't shine inside of our mix. It's one of those bass instruments that is quite difficult to get right. And so today I'm going to show you exactly my technique in getting a awesome sounding kick drum. So first step when we're EQing kick drums is to obviously pull up an EQ on our kick, and let's listen to it in context. I did boost this by about 4 decibels or so, just so we can really focus on the kick without losing the context of the rest of the song. So let's start listening. There are three main areas of the kick drum that we are concerned about. It is the fundamental, the low mids, and then the beater. And so it's pretty straightforward in terms of how to actually identify those various parts. However, what's really tricky is being able to balance all of those areas properly. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna boost the fundamental of the kick drum, just so we can really kind of figure out where that is. This is more of an investigative, whatever that word is, approach to EQing the kick drum. Rather than just blindly boosting and cutting, we want to find out where these things lie, because the low end is oftentimes the traffic jam of our mix. We want to ensure that we're dealing with a kick in a much more nuanced way than just blindly soloing it and then just EQing it, because often we will want to be able to cut out certain parts of the kick drum in order for the bass to live, and vice versa. So let's first find the fundamental of the kick drum. Okay, so it looks like it's right around this kind of 60 hertz, maybe 65 hertz range. I'm just gonna add a little high pass here just to cut out anything below 30 hertz. It's not really adding anything, it's just noise, some of our headroom. So I'm just slightly boosting the fundamental of the kick. I think that's right and appropriate in this case, just because I'm not getting as much fullness out of the kick as I really wanted to initially, and I want to offset some of the other moves I'm gonna make. Let's move on to actually investigating the bass guitar. And in this case, we have this vacuum packed and this trap bass. So let's solo those, and don't worry, we're getting back to the kick EQ here, but we're just gonna watch our analyzer here and find out where these basses are living. Okay, so as you can see, the real fundamental of the bass is really living around that 100 hertz range. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add another band here, pretty narrow, and I'm gonna cut right at that 100 hertz range or so. This is gonna create a lot of separation between my kick drum and my bass, so they're not running over one another. And I'm gonna do the opposite for the kick, or excuse me, the bass, because I'm going to cut the bass, add an EQ here, and instead of boosting at the 60 hertz, I'm gonna cut it there, and then I'm going to boost it slightly at the 100 hertz range. And then that is going to create a ton of separation between the kick and the bass. Yeah, so that's really allowing that kick to shine through. I'm really loving what that is doing. Okay, we are definitely not done with EQing our kick drum though. So again, the first two steps are, first of all, we want to find out where the fundamental is, maybe boost that if our kick doesn't sound full enough. And then secondly, we want to find out where the fundamental of our bass is and then cut that in the kick and vice versa in the bass guitar or bass synth, whatever we have going on there. So those are the first two steps. Now step 3 is cut out any muddy middle that we have. And so this is a very common thing on pretty much all drums. You'll often have this kind of muddy mid-range that is completely unnecessary for a great sounding percussive element. So let's listen and see if we can find some mud that we're going to removing. I already know that there's a lot of just kind of garbage in the kick drum that I want to remove out of here. And then the fourth step is to actually find out where the beater is, right? So we've already talked about the fundamental, the muddy middle, and then we want to find out where the beater actually lives. And we're just gonna have a high shelf here, and I'm gonna move it back until I really find wherever that beater is and where it's gonna be emphasized the most. And then I'm gonna leave that shelf there. And so when you solo your kick, you might find out that it sounds a little bit tinny after this move. And there's two things that we want to do with that. So first of all, I'm gonna add a low pass because we don't need all this information up here. Generally, that's just kind of bland information. Also, old kicks were almost always recorded to tape and therefore they naturally have a roll off on the top end because of the tape saturation that was added to the kick. So I'm just gonna add my own little low pass there in order to cut all that stuff out, create even more separation between the other tracks, but I'm still boosting this kind of 8K range, which is really where that beater head is being emphasized. So let's listen to it in context now, and then I'm gonna solo it as well. So let's listen to it soloed though. By soloing it, we might find out this sounds really kind of top end heavy. And that is very intentional because it allows that kick to really cut through the mix because it sounds big inside of the mix, but you'll find out that there's a lot of top end that needs to be added to a kick drum to allow it to actually cut through the mix. Reviewing again what we have already done and what we have yet to do. So the first thing is find the fundamental of the bass guitar and cut that out of the kick, cut out the muddy middle, and then emphasize the top, and then also make sure you have a low pass in order to cut out anything is in that 10K plus range. So if you want to be able to review this and actually follow this step by step every single time you EQ a kick drum, then don't forget to pick up the instrumentation equalization guide because that is going to guide you through all of this plus all of the other instruments that you will often find inside of your mixes. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you found this at all helpful because I release videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to help you get more professional mixes and masters. All right, I'll see you in the next one.